Popcorn and Beers, welcome back. This week we've got our Butter on Top Smile 2 and our drum classic Hatchet. Let's go. Welcome back to your father's, stepfather's, brother-in-law's favorite movie show. This is Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We use the stuff that gets you drunk. And Josh uses a Michael Bublé.
Yes, it's only like 5 calories, dear.
All right, so we've got 2 Butter on Tops, because obviously Jordan missed last week, and he was able to get to the theater to see Terrifier 3. But first, let's talk about Smile 2. I'm really happy I got to the theater today. I was the only one on the crew that was able to get out and see the Butter on Top this week.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it was better than the original. It was better than the original.
Okay.
They did a good job, and the producers found a way to make this franchise last forever. All right, with this storyline. So this will be a franchise you will see sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel. I'm not going to give away the end. I'm not going to spoiler alert.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
All right. So that aside, we have a film that is definitely brought to you by the product placement of Voss and Cadillac. Those 2 entities 100% paid for this film, because let me tell you, there is not a single scene without a bottle of Voss water. Even there's a scene where this bottle breaks, and you know what just lands face up? Voss.
Yeah.
In the glass. That piece does not shatter. So there's not a scene without that. There is actually a storyline here that kind of makes sense. Not entirely. They slowly mention or slightly mention the previous film because they know what a train wreck that movie was. So anyway, aside from Cadillac and Voss sponsoring this entire film, I will say that this storyline kind of works for a demon that attacks people through, or I guess inhabitates people through other people seeing them kill themselves due to this demon's work, right? So this storyline with a singer being famous with the troubled past kind of works because the whole thing is the demon feeds on the dark places within its host, and she has a lot of them. She's gone through, substance abuse. She went through a terrible car accident, and the film really digs into it. Naomi Scott does play a decent pop star. She does really well. There are laugh out loud moments where when I'm thinking and I'm watching this, I'm like, the crew has to be loving this. Like, this has to be just a fun movie to film. They have to be cracking up at how ridiculously silly some of this stuff is. And they do some practical effect stuff, which we love, and we're going to talk about in the Drunk Classic here coming up. But overall, I do want to say that they have some bangers. Jordan, you said the same thing about Trapped. You said that M. Night Shyamalan's niece, all things aside, she had some bangers in the movie. And in this one, whoever wrote the songs, Naomi Scott has a couple bangers. A couple of those songs, I was like, I could see that on my workout playlist for sure. As much as Josh hates that I love girl pop when I work out, I do.
Objection.
You always say it's the weirdest thing ever that I work out to.
No, you listen to slow R&B have sex girl pop.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. Because I like some Gaga, some Chappell Roan, some Sia when I'm working out.
It's great. It's the Blackpink. It's the best workout music. Doja. It doesn't matter. Cardi. What girl pop is?
I like girl pop when I'm working out. It's great.
It's great. And this movie definitely has a couple bangers in it where I was like, okay, that could definitely play while I'm working out at the gym for sure. I'd be okay with it. I don't know how they're doing it. I think they're doing it to kind of encourage some of the ADD people like myself to get into the movie, giving you so many different points of stimulus that it's hard not to pay attention because there's just so much going on. And this movie didn't do it
part
poorly.
Of the formula. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've objected to quite a few movies doing it poorly, right, in the past on this show. This one does it pretty good. And I have to say, I appreciate it. It's better than the first. The first one, I barely want to give a popcorn. This one, we will give a popcorn again, but a promising popcorn, as I feel like the writers, the producers saw everything they did wrong with the first one and tried to alter it here with this movie. Jordan, tell us about Terrifier 3.
Terrifier 3. Yeah, it just was... Kind of what I expected for the most part. Just outrage. It's just reaching for that outrage, the gore, and all that stuff. The
Pretty
acting
sexual scene.
Yeah,
and not the shower scene.
No, yeah, no.
No, it's not the scene I'm talking about.
No. The acting got a little bit better from 1 and 2. The writing definitely got a little bit better from 1 and 2. I mean, that's not saying much, but it just got better. I'm not saying it got great. It got better than the first 2. The guy that plays Art the Clown, I think I said this when I reviewed part 2, he's just an incredible physical actor. His expression and just the way he does everything is great. Children, just like, dogs being murdered loses a point. Children do not need to be brutally murdered on screen. You can leave some stuff to the imagination. You don't need to graphically show children.
You didn't like little Tommy's arm?
No, I hate that stuff. They made a Santa, I think this was an original song, but there's this little Santa Satan jingle going on in the background of one of the scenes. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
I don't remember that. I don't remember the dog either. Can you remind?
No, I say just like killing dogs.
Oh, okay. I was
movie.
I didn't remember. I remember the rats, but I did not remember a dog being killed. Okay, gotcha.
And the effects are really cool. There's this scene.
You just compared children to dogs.
Well, obviously, you don't want to see it in movies.
I got it. You don't want to see them killed. I get the context in which you meant it. It's just kind of funny to think about. You're like, yeah, kids just like dogs.
Yeah, people do that all the time.
Don't die.
I'm a dog mom.
There's a effects sequence with there's a dream, and she's dreaming about this hellish looking forge where her magic sword thing is made, and there's this angel figure, and I was like, whoa, this is really awesome. It seemed like a whole separate movie for a minute, and I was so into it. I wish they would have continued with more of this kind of mythology thing going on there. But overall, this movie was kind of stupid. I mean, the Christmas element to it all, Christmas in October kind of thing. It's just I don't know. But they set it up. There's going to be a million more of these, obviously. It did so well in the box office. I'm going to give it a popcorn and 1 for just the subgenre of horror that it is. And that's just gore porn, It's just torture, mutilation, outrage stuff. It's
Hellraiser, in the same vein as Hellraiser, Phantasmic, all of those classic 80s gore porn movies. Yeah.
Popcorn and 1, I guess.
Oh, it's popcorn and 1, babe.
Terrifier 3. So we're going to get now to the drunk classic. It was mine, and I had to get Jordan back because he throws a lot of stuff my way. And for some reason, I think he has a beat on what I have to pay for. And Jordan holds the record for making me pay for movies I don't necessarily want to rewatch, but I've probably seen before. 13 Ghosts, things like that. I actually wasn't too upset with you for 13 Ghosts. It ended up being a decent enough movie. But so I hit you with, after Terrifier 3, because I know you're into that Terrifier series, Hatchet, which was a movie that spawned not 1, but 2 sequels, I believe. We got all the way to Hatchet 3. I don't know that there was more. I think I stopped counting. But we got all the way to Hatchet 3 with the Hatchet series. And I wanted to show you guys this because I used to put this on in the dorms in Kirtland, New Mexico every Halloween season because I just thought it was one of the best horror films of that time frame when we were in, and it did come out in the late 2000s, and it hollers at it. I mean, you got old boy from Dodgeball playing your main character, which was fantastic. You got the comedic relief from his best friend, the black guy, which is
the black guy,
which is really what he plays in the movie.
Yeah.
You've got the hot girls.
Playing a character. He was the token black friend character. Yep. He had it nailed.
Yeah,
and he played the role exactly how it's supposed to be played. Everything, even the
booty
facial,
on his buzz.
even the facial expressions, the discussion about crabs and how you should have been able to tell everything about it. What is it? Bayou beavers. There's so much things that are regrettable. I'm not gonna lie in this movie.
Did he? But did he say fly honeys at some point?
Probably. He goes, why you want to leave all the boobies and go where there's no boobies? Like there was so much gratuitous things going on in this movie, to include the violence. Because once the gratuitous nudity ends, the gratuitous violence starts in this movie. And I mean, you get him throwing a, what is it called? What is that thing called when you hurl javelin? You got him hurling a javelin and just point blank, just nailing a foot. Perfect. You have
that foot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that foot.
Yeah. And then you have one of my favorite things was like looking at this and trying to pick up on Robert Englund just gets offed right at the beginning of the movie, which is hilarious because he is a staple of horror movies, especially cheese like this. And I love it. Like, there's just so many things that are just literally for gratuitous nature. The violence, the hacking, the practical effects. But I do want to say this. You know what I never realized is when he sands off the young woman's face, when he sands off her face, did you guys catch what kind of sander it is?
It's like a belt sander, right?
Yeah, belt sander.
Yeah, but it's a gas-powered sander. How did he get so much gas? He started it with no one noticing. He got the right oil mixture. This is like, it was a gas-powered sander.
That's a good catch. That's good.
Yeah. And you see the little gas on it. It's in the little white, like, whole gas tank or whatever. I was like, is that a gas-powered thing? The practical effects I already mentioned were fantastic. Some of the trailers, because I have the DVD of this movie, have films being advertised on MySpace still. Which,
oh my God.
Visit our MySpace page at, whatever, Before the Killer or Behind the Mask, which I have to see now. I saw the trailer for a movie called Behind the Mask. It's a horror movie by the same production company. Need to see it. The trailer was fantastic. Just chef's kiss. But the outfits, just the most 90s outfits you've ever seen, like late 90s, early 2000s wardrobe. And one of my favorite quotes from this whole movie is, "I'd rather skin my own dick." That made me laugh so hard. And it makes me want to say that every time I don't want to do something. All right.
Skin my own dick.
Jordan, we're going to get to you last, because I take it it's your first time seeing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
My first time seeing this. All
right, Josh, go ahead. What did you? Because you said you forgot when we started talking about it.
Yeah, dude, I forgot. This movie is good. Like, it's not like, oh, so bad it's good, but no, it is. But it's like on purpose in such a good way. It's classic. It is a classic style take on horror, modernized for the time, which was a long time ago now. So like, how you have like Manic Pixie Girl, right? This was also a trope too, like common nobody main character. For a good while, that was the character. Like, his character sucked. He's like, oh no, now my girlfriend. I don't want to hang around people. I'm gonna get on a boat. And then he finds the girl of his dreams, and that's like a billion movies. Scott Pilgrim's based on that type of character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, why was that in that era? It's because back then, those are the people that went to the movies, is the lonely single dudes. And so they make a lonely single dude main character, of course, you know what I mean? And they want to see Manic Pixie Girl. Anyway, overanalyzing. This movie is fun. The deaths are great. They hit you. It's not like jump scares, but it's like jump murders, where it's like, oh my goodness, it's so funny. I love every character is such an archetype, but their performances are fun. And it's so stupid. And the ending is one of the best endings I've ever seen. I loved the ending. It was so good when he's got the hand. It was like, I gotcha. That, like, the monster pranked the girl. He pranked her. Popcorn in one movie, dude. Easy.
He loves ripping off arms, huh? He loves ripping off arms in this movie.
That's his go-to move. You talked about the horror royalty and all that, Robert Englund. We also got the original Candyman, in
Oh,
there
yeah!
plays the voodoo shop owner, and I love that. I love that whole dialogue exchange. He's talking about like, oh, I don't do the boat tours anymore because I took some guys out there, and you're thinking he's talking about this monster Victor Crowley attacked the people, and he goes, he stepped off the boat and slipped and hit his head on a rock and sued me, that sucker.
yeah. But I love like how that it started. He was playing like that's like 1940s cinema. Like, oh, we don't go to the haunted house anymore.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, the perfect voice.
Yeah, it's horror comedy kind of at its finest. I love these kinds of movies. The tense conversation between the main guy and the action girl, where they're like face to face like this. Oh god, that just it's all very cheesy. Good, gore, the way they pull off everything with this low budget, this pseudo racist Asian
tour
guy
from Detroit.
Yeah,
no
changes his
reason.
accent 3 times.
Yeah.
First,
I gotta say though, I know that he was putting on a Cajun accent, but it was honestly starting to offend me, dog.
yeah. He goes.
I know he was
from
doing that on purpose, but dang, man.
Yeah, he goes from the Cajun to what, Korean or something, super thick accent, and then he's just from Detroit. Ends up being from Detroit. This was a super fun movie. I could watch this, many times in the future. Yeah, I give it a popcorn one as well. Yeah,
It's definitely a prime candidate for background movie too.
For sure. That is Hatchet. I also give it a popcorn and one. And you gotta love where they go for the grotesque effect. It's not like Terrifier. It's literally you're gonna get some throw up in someone's mouth. And I forgot about after he javelins his foot and they find a way to survive, and he just it's a pause, they're face to face, he just and coughs blood into his face for no reason. It was good. It was a fun trip down memory lane for Hatchet. So popcorn and ones across the board. Jordan, why don't you ramble off the 2 drunk classics that you missed?
Yeah. So I've been a bad boy. I've been gone for a while, and I need to get caught up on some drunk classics. I watched Galaxy Quest. I'm not a fan of Tim Allen. I just don't find him entertaining. I don't know. I don't like him. I just don't like him.
How about that?
It's his face.
But, this movie it's got some funny scenes in it. It's just, the effects are mostly good, especially the bad guy. The way they pull off the effects and the makeup and the costuming and all that on the main bad guy alien was awesome. Not so much the little alien baby scene that are chasing him, attack him. Those effects are really bad. But the whole thing is Tim Allen is the guy who's like Bill Shatner, supposed to be Bill Shatner pretty much.
Yeah.
And he takes himself in this role really seriously, and he thinks everybody loves him when secretly they're dumping on him behind his back. People that are outside of this world think he's just a loser. And but then it's they show his house, and it's like, buddy, look at your house, look at the way you're living, and you care what the guy running the convention thinks about you. The guy running the convention thinks you're a dork. But look at the way you're living. It's just,
you're fine. You're doing fine.
Laughing to the bank is real, dude.
Yeah, it's what I feel like Tim Allen actually lives like.
Probably.
They don't respect me. I was the tool man in Santa Claus.
I'm Buzz Goddamn Lightyear.
Yeah. But, Sigourney Weaver's great. Who is the other guy? That's
Potter.
Alan Rickman. Yes. R.I.P. Alan Rickman. Love him. But, this movie is just... It's actually a really clever idea that they could pull off with many different genres of horror movie. Oh, the final girl in real life. But you know what I mean? They could do this to many genres of movies.
Yeah. There's 3 amigos. Yeah.
But I give this one a popcorn.
A popcorn?
It's fine though. It's fine.
Hater.
Yeah, I don't remember liking this movie back when I was a younger kid. I was just like, eh. And then let me get to
smart people.
Yeah, I guess.
Sorry, John. I stole your line.
My drunk classic last week was 13 Ghosts. And this movie traumatized me as a kid. My older cousins loved it. They were obsessed with it. This movie scared me to death. Lots of sleepless nights after this movie. It still gave me the creeps watching it. Now, like, I went to bed, turned off all lights, was walking to bed feeling like there was something behind me. For sure. It's heavy sci-fi scary kind of subgenre movie. Excellent costuming and makeup. Decent cast. Very, very imaginative, like, lore that they built in behind this. We're getting a TV show.
Obviously.
For it around the background.
I was about to say they need to make a show.
They're making a TV show. This is just a fun, very short in and out movie.
Is it short? It's like an hour and 30 minutes, right?
It seems short.
It's longer than it needs to be.
I agree.
Yeah, a little bit.
Same with Smile too. We don't need 2-hour horror films. Terrifier as well. It doesn't need. We get the gist of it. You're not explaining anything to us.
Yeah, Terrifier definitely drug on a little bit too long. I give 13 Ghosts of Popcorn and 1. Boop. Literally, this is one of the staple, scariest movies of my childhood.
Wow. So you're just facing your fears? That's why you chose it? I've got to face my
scary.
fears.
It's spooky-tober, bud.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, I remember watching it multiple times, though. Like, it wasn't like I was like, scream and cry, oh my god, turn it off, I need to leave the room. It was like, this is so interesting, all this stuff that's happening. But it scared me to death later on after the fact. Like, I couldn't sleep that night.
That's a point on you, because my version of that was In the Mouth of Madness. So this is much better than Mouth of Madness.
Yes.
So good job.
Much better
movie. That scared the hell out of you. For sure.
I saw The Substance, which is on Gold Derby listed at 33-1 to win Best Picture. Okay? It's not gonna win, but the fact that it's so high when most films of this type, this genre, are 100-1, right? That's like the worst it gets is 100-1. So if you see a film at 100-1, it's probably not gonna win. It's probably not even gonna be nominated. Challengers is rated pretty high too, which was one of the. I'm sorry, stop liking films just because you're supposed to. That film, it's I know I can't say objectively. I'm supposed to say subjectively because people liked it. It's objectively bad. It's so bad. It's a bad movie.
Terrible movie.
And you just like it because you're supposed to. Just be honest with yourself.
But honestly, I've heard more people than not say that they really liked that movie.
Yeah,
like, people I talked to.
You know why, Jordan? Because they're supposed to say that. They're not willing to admit to themselves, dialogue bad, story bad, camera angles bad, everything, the end bad, catchphrase bad. Yeah. It was just a bad movie. Anyway, acting was okay. I will say that. The acting was okay, but that's about it. Anyway, I saw The Substance, starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, I think that's how you pronounce her name. You know her from The Maid on Netflix. She's been in quite a few Netflix movies. She's fantastic in this. I will say that. Her character, she's a great actress. I was shocked she didn't win an Emmy for The Maid. But it also has Dennis Quaid playing himself. When I say Dennis Quaid playing himself, his character is just a genuinely terrible person. Just really bad.
Yes. Good.
As it stands.
Quaid.
Now, this movie is a bizarre descent into madness. It's truly a film about self-hate and how crippling it can be to let it consume you, wondering what it would be like to be young again, to be beautiful again, and how far would you go to get those two things. I think for the people that thrive in the industries that require it, it's more important. And that's what we have here. Demi Moore plays a character, Elizabeth Sparkles, who's been famous forever, and she eventually gets put in a place. Go ahead.
That's her name? Elizabeth Sparkles?
Elizabeth Sparkles.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she does porn.
I thought you were just putting up your hand because, let's pretend for a second that Demi Moore has ever been unattractive. Ever.
Right, that too. I mean,
my entire life, up to right now, and seeing this movie, Demi Moore has been insanely beautiful and a great actress. Sorry, that part was hard for me. It's
She's
hard
like
to buy
that kind of. She's that kind of pretty where you're just like, oh man.
Yeah, she's just a beautiful human being. Okay, and like a beautiful human being inside and out. If you've seen some of the stuff she's done outside of her career, outside of acting, and what she's done with Bruce Willis and his disease, she's just a great person. Anyway, she is an amazing part of this movie. By the way, when she gets into it, could win awards for hair and makeup. I will say that this movie could absolutely win awards for hair and makeup. Now, there is a lot of incorporating ASMR, and that is a new trend. Like I talked about it last week with It Lives Inside or something like that, whatever movie I reviewed last week.
What's Inside?
What's Inside, thank you. And they use a lot of ASMR sound tricks, a lot of TikTok, social media tropes like up close filming where they're eating and you hear the sound and it's just kind of disgusting. But it all gets started because now, it starts out with Demi Moore, not her character, Elizabeth Sparkle, not being able to go into the female restroom. It's out of order, so she has to go into the male restroom, and she overhears Dennis Quaid, again, playing an absolutely terrible person, so himself, saying that she's ugly, she's old, and no women after over 50 should have a career, and just going off on all this stuff. And she leaves just hurt, and then the story gets started because she's so out of it, she ends up in a terrible car accident because she's not focused on anything that's going on, and it leads us down this path of discovering a new drug that is basically the fountain of youth, and she embarks upon this path, and her younger self is played by Margaret Qualley, who is crushing it, and it is very visceral. If you are not prepared for some just gross stuff, don't watch this movie. If you're triggered easily, don't watch this movie. However, the last 30 minutes is the funniest movie I have seen all year long. The last 30 minutes of this movie, it's hysterical. Again, this is The Substance, and I gave it a pop too. I do think it was fun. I do think it was good. There are moments like you see an old lady just get drop kicked. And yes, that was my reaction in the theater. I laughed so loud because it's not just like a regular drop kick; it's a running. I'm gonna jump off 3 stairs and drop kick this old lady, and I was dead. I was like dying. So there are a couple scenes like that occur throughout. A lot of practical effects. Apparently, practical effects are making a comeback in film because not a lot of CGI. There is CGI, but a lot of practical effects. And if you're familiar with Eric Pride's music video, "Call on Me," which Josh should be, we used to watch it. Yeah, we used to watch that music video a lot in the dorms for obvious reasons because we're young men. But there is a lot of "Call on Me" vibe going on in a lot of the films because she is a at-home workout video producer. So she's the star of at-home workout videos, and it is just straight out of "Call on Me." It breaks, I mean, the reason this all descends into chaos is because she decides to break the rules of the drugs to get laid. And that was such an interesting thought. And then it progresses. The reason that she's breaking the rules gets deeper and deeper than that. But it was so surface level to start. Was I have to break this rule to get laid. It was very funny, very interesting. Lots of tones of fighting your younger self, or your youth fighting your older self, thinking you're younger than you actually are, and how that impacts you and how that messes with your head, and believing you should be able to do some of the things you used to, thinking you still look that way. There's a lot of that here. Yeah.
You can't wear those kinds of pants anymore. You have to gotta wear adult pants.
I think, honestly, so I give this, again, The Substance, a pop 2. It is in theaters now. I think you'll see some stuff for the Oscars. But in regards to what you just said, Josh, I do think, once you hit, 33, that's your style for the rest of your life, and you're just stuck in it. Until you hit the age of just button-ups and slacks.
Yeah, eventually there's going to be a sweater vest, and it's going to stay.
That's it. That's who you are now. Jordan's getting close. He's about to have his passion for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah. Jordan, as a teacher, do you already have a blazer with the elbow patches?
I might. I think I did. I haven't worn it yet, but it hasn't gotten cold enough.
You got to wear it, dog. You got to own it.
Do you have your teacher stance yet?
Yeah.
Every teacher has a stance that they always there it is.
One hand on the hip. Yep.
All right, Josh. So talk to us about what you were watching.
Well, in the light of things that are new, I'll just rattle through a couple things I saw on the TV that are new. For instance, Matlock is new. There's a new show. Kathy Bates is Matlock. She plays basically the same character. It's just a gender swap. And she's now working in an area like Suits, like high legal in the top skyscraper building, big firm, that kind of thing. She like infiltrates her way into this, and now she's working for the big firm. So it's like Suits with Matlock. That's the idea. So that's the first twist. Easy twist. Like, oh, now I'm working in the big city instead of little towns. And she does the job great. But there's another twist right at the end of the first episode, and it's like, oh, okay. So it's enough of a twist to keep me entertained. I'm going to keep watching it. I'll review it later. It's good. Next up, Netflix series is on the top 10. Nobody Wants This show with, you guys know what I'm talking about? It's a rom-com show.
The rom-com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just started watching that. I'm a little under halfway through it, and so far it's surprisingly pretty good. So I was wondering your thoughts, maybe if you wanted. I'm going to keep watching the show, but do you think the TV show or the Netflix special, whatever, is that the new home for rom-coms? Because they're not really in movies much. They're always going to try to make a movie that's a rom-com, but I think they have a new home in shows. I think that's their new place.
We discussed this when it came to Fall Guy, how that was the best rom-com, and make no mistake, it is a rom-com that we've had in years.
Sure. And we haven't had a lot in a long time. We've had a few little piddly ones that didn't make it.
Yeah, there was one that came out and it was under the radar, but I know it was like always, there's always people going to watch that movie. It was out recently, based on a book. I don't know. But yeah, there was one recently. But
I think the issue is our leading men have gotten old, is what it is. Like, Ashton Kutcher. It's the same with action movies, right? Where The Rock's in his 50s, Sylvester's almost 80 years old, Arnold's probably done, poor Bruce, that's all I'll say. Like, so I think it's the same with rom-coms. Ryan Reynolds kind of aged out. Gerard Butler, maybe not that guy anymore. Matthew McConaughey, I don't know if he still is interested in rom-coms. Maybe
he can do
one
whatever he wants. I think he knows that, so I think he's probably done doing them.
Yeah, I think Brendan Fraser's out. Like, I just don't. I don't know who does the rom-com now. What leading actor do you have doing this?
Timothy Chalamet, brother.
Oh my God, get him out of my life forever. Zac Efron, maybe though.
The guy from that Sydney Sweeney movie, I forget his name.
Oh, Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell.
Yo, is Sydney Sweeney?
Is
that
on.
true? I saw a photo of Sydney Sweeney. I think she's beefing up for some kind of wrestler movie or fighter movie.
Boxer, yeah, she's gonna play a boxer coming up here soon.
She's got some arms. She beefed up. Is that a real photo?
She's done MMA like her whole life apparently. So this, like, she's friends with Ronda Rousey.
Bring back beef girls.
All right,
yeah,
so let me jump in really quick as well. What are you gonna rate that Matlock so far?
I'm thinking we're looking at an easy pop 1. It's a show. It's a law procedural hip show with an old person in it. But I think they're gonna do some cool things with the writing.
So a CBS show. Just bring back old stuff.
Dude, for sure. But it's the same old thing, but it's got a cool twist. So we'll see.
All right, so really quick, let me rattle off 2. I saw Silver Linings Playbook for the first time in a long time. This is an easy pop 3. This movie is a popcorn and 3. This movie's so good. And it's so good, and it's so good. That's what I'm going to tell you.
I agree.
I think this is the start of Bradley Cooper's Oscar run, and I forgot what a great movie that it actually is. If you're wondering, it's all Hemingway's fault, apparently, according to this movie. This movie has an interesting way of dealing with themes of mental illness and how to deal with tragic situations, whether it be surface-level tragic situations or deaths. The two characters come together in a very interesting way, and you do see how society and the world can twist what actually occurs. I give this a popcorn and 3, easy. I think everyone should see it. It will tug at your heartstrings, and it will make you feel something. So, Silver Linings Playbook.
Hatred for the Eagles.
Hatred for the Eagles. All right, and then I saw How It Ends, starring Forrest Whitaker. It is your stereotypical end-of-the-world drama where we have hardworking dad, doesn't like girlfriend's fiance, but they're going to be having a kid, so he has to. But wait, the world's going to end, so I've got to go save my baby girl. And since you flew all the way here to let us know that my baby girl is going to be having a baby, you got to come with me. Are you man enough? And that is the story we go on. And across, invaders, renegades, vigilantes that are now running the world, these two travel through Mad Max's world to try to rescue Forrest Whitaker's daughter and the future son-in-law's fiance. And of course, she survives with a shady character. Overall, it wasn't a bad movie, to be honest. It was entertaining. It kept me sucked in a little bit. You never really get to know what the disaster is, which I think is kind of interesting, and it's an interesting way to take a movie like this, an end-of-the-world post-apocalyptic thriller. But I give it a popcorn and 1, and that is how it ends. Go ahead, Josh.
What do you think about Forrest Whitaker Never Misses? He might be in a bad movie, but I think he always hits it. Do you agree?
Forrest Whitaker's great, and he's just good to watch. He's got the great voice. He's a great actor. What was the movie we all watched with Forrest Whitaker a while back?
Oh.
What was that?
I was going to say Last King of Scotland, but we didn't watch that.
No, we watched one a while back with Forrest Whitaker where he doesn't realize that... Is it Phone Booth?
Oh, yeah.
It's Phone Booth. Yeah.
The cop, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I that was one of your drunk classics, right, Jordan?
Yes.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker in that, too. Like, he is fantastic in everything, like I said.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan, what's next?
I watched a really long historical documentary series on Netflix. It is 10 episodes long, hour-long episodes called Turning Point, The Bomb, and the Cold War. Even the title is really long and drawn out. But this basically tells the story of America and Russia. And from the point of us building the bomb and the whole Cold War up until now, like literally up until what's going on with Ukraine and Zelensky. And it just tells the long, detailed, drawn out story of how we got from there to now, basically.
That's cool.
Yeah. And honestly, if you know, on Netflix, and if you know, this took me a really long time to get through too. Like, I'm talking about like a couple months. Like, it's just very, very detailed. So, and it just talks a lot about, Russian politicians. So a lot of Shmedomachkeviches and Derbitskis and stuff like that. And you're just like, huh? Who are we talking about now?
Lots of Spetsnaz.
Spetsnaz, yeah. So
KGB.
You could honestly skip a lot of the early episodes, and Shverka. You could skip a lot of. You can skip a lot of the early episodes if you're just like, oh, okay, the Berlin Wall, I kind of know about that. All right, whatever.
Okay.
Once you get to like the middle stuff and they talk about the rise of Vladimir Putin, that's where they are really started rattling through these episodes, because it started to get really like, it's all current, so it's all very relevant to you now. So you're just like, okay.
I don't know why I just pictured like a montage of Putin's life, and he's just like hitting a speed bag for some reason.
I just got in my head, it was different. It was Jordan. Vladimir Putin? Who the fuck is this guy?
What to do with Putin?
Well, that's the thing, though. His rise is very unassuming and very just out of nowhere. Like, he's just
Is that a short joke? Was that a short joke? His rise is very unassuming.
Yeah. He's just a Johnny Pencil Pusher guy, and like the KGB does a whole lot of nothing, and all of a sudden he's like the right-wing man to, I don't know, who's it, Gorbachev or...
Yeah.
I don't know. No,
yeah, I think
the guy after
maybe.
Gorbachev. Something, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, after Gorbachev.
But this is a Popcorn 3 series. It's very detailed. It's very good. Very good. It's very frightening too. The last couple of episodes are like terrifying. Like, whoa, we are barreling towards World War III. But
yeah, we are. I mean, are we shocked? Like, we've been talking about this for a while now. So the next thing I watched was Woman of the Hour. This is Anna Kendrick's baby, I think. It was produced and directed by Anna Kendrick. And it is the true story of Rodney Alcala, and he murdered what is estimated to be over 100 women and little girls. Just an awful, charming person, just like, what was it, Ted Bundy, right? That was the one that everybody found charming, and it's the same thing here. And I don't know if this aspect of it is true, but he gets caught by a girl, a young woman who convinces him that everything's okay and things just got a little out of hand, and asks, can we just go back to your place? And she apologized to him for being too rough and just messes with him. And it may have fed into his psychosis a little bit. What's interesting about this story is the end, when you read all about the actual person and how he was released on parole, and he killed 23 more people, I believe, when he was released on parole. It's a trip what happens here and how much people were allowed to get away with in terms of what they did to women. And it's a really it's really a story of believe her in this movie, and how far back, because this is the late 70s, how far back men have been doing this. So this is not a new thing of not believing women. And I think Anna Kendrick is really driving home, like, believe her, like, men are bad. And Buster from Arrested Development is in it, and he plays just the worst person as a game show host you could ever imagine. And he's just terrible. He goes, hey, you're beautiful. How about that smile, honey? People like it when beautiful women smile. And all this stuff. And eventually, Anna Kendrick's character does straighten him out, because one of the makeup artists is kind of like, what's he going to do? This is live TV. It's not like he can fire you. It's the dating game. You don't, you know, it's not standing episodes, so have fun with it. Anyway, I think that this is going to get some buzz. I don't know that it's going to win anything, but the killer is essentially brazen enough to go on the dating game, and he is a contestant that ends up winning. And he really plays himself with Anna Kendrick's character by revealing what an awful person he actually is. And the character that she plays narrowly escapes death. Again, this is Woman of the Hour, directed by Anna Kendrick, and I'm going to give it a popcorn and 2. It was a good movie, but stay for the subtext after the movie where it's telling you the actual story of this person.
Cool.
I want to see this.
It's quick too. Much. It's not a long movie. It's not a long movie. It was easy to watch.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, Josh, what's up next for you?
Well, speaking of Bruce Willis, I watched another one. I've reviewed it, I know, on his show, so I'm going to hit you real quick. I watched Red with the fam last night, and Retired Extremely Dangerous, what it stands for. Bruce Willis. It's got Morgan Freeman. It's got Malkovich. It's got Helen Mirren's in it. It's got the guy who is in The Ring, the father who jumps in the bathtub. And he's in 1,000 other movies. He plays every Scotsman, every period piece. He's in it. Anyway, this is a popcorn too. It's a great, great movie. It's just good. Everyone's having a good time. And, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. I've said it before.
I mean, it did spawn a circle. It spawned a circle. It spawned a sequel.
Yeah. And,
all right.
Thoughts and prayers or whatever with Bruce Willis, because he actually has a very similar thing to what my father had, and it's difficult, but you're still capable of having a really good day. You know what I mean? So he's not is super suffering as far as I know, and he's with his family, so that's cool, man. It's good to see him so charming and just awesome. Bruce Willis is awesome. Yeah. Everyone in the movie is awesome.
Cool. It's good. Yeah, it is a fun movie. Red is a fun movie if you're just looking for a antiseptic action film. Red is right there with you. Jordan, what's next for you?
I watched one of my movies that are just it's always going to be on my list. It's one of my favorite animated Halloween movies, and that is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. I think I've said before I'm a Scooby-Doo nerd in a very childlike sense. It is, I believe this was the first feature-length animated Scooby-Doo film.
Really?
And I think so. And
it's old. You're right. I think
so. Yeah. And it was good. It's, it's short. It's, I don't know, 50 minutes or so. They really sharpened the colors on the characters, gave their characters like a little more depth, they gave them some backstory, some actual like personality and relationship kind of things. Like, they kind of developed it a little bit more. The dialogue is great. The soundtrack is just top tier for like an animated Scooby-Doo movie. It spawned some bangers.
Okay.
All right. It's definitely, this movie's definitely got a cult following. And in this one, they make a big major pivot. It's no fakes in the masks. Not for this
fakes,
one.
Broski.
Yeah. They took a big chance and had some real monsters in there. So
Stop pulling on my face.
yeah.
Have you seen that the SNL sketch that's fairly recent with Sabrina Carpenter playing Daphne?
No.
Oh, I
It's
think so.
It's a really good Scooby-Doo sketch. You should check into it.
Yeah. I give this, as far as just Scooby-Doo movies go, this is a popcorn in 2.
Pop and 2.
And it's actually kind of creepy. It's pretty scary. So
I watched The Watchers. Again, trying to dig into this. The Watchers. Yes. M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, I believe. This is her film. Man, that guy, no one does nepotism like M. Night, huh? That guy is owning it. He's like, you know what? White people have done this for years. It's our turn. So good for M. Night.
Movie.
I just wish that he was doing it with better things. I really do. Now, I'm not going to lie. Save Me, the song from Trapped, is now on my workout playlist. That song's a banger. Just going to be real with everyone here. It's a good song. She put out a banger. It's certified. But Watchers, I did not like it as much as Jordan did. I'm going to give this a popcorn in 1. I think that Elle Fanning is a great actress. I think she crushes most roles. I think she does play the kind of,
Dakota?
ass. Was that Dakota?
yeah, Dakota.
Wow, that was.
No, wait, whoa.
It was. I think it's Elle Fanning.
You might be right.
Someone should look it up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty upset that you interrupted me right at the part where I was going to say ass
Oh,
burgers.
it's Dakota.
Is it Dakota?
It's Dakota.
Where I was going to say ass burgers, Jordan, and Josh has to cut out a long part of me just saying ass as I'm talking. So Josh, mark this time right here, 45:53, to go look for where I just say ass and stop talking, please.
I'm gonna make you repeat it.
So I tried to leave the runway for Jordan so he could get his comment in, and I just stopped at the wrong time, and I'm lashing out, and it's no one's fault but my own. But but yeah, no, she did a great job in the movie. Sorry, Dakota Fanning. Thank you, Jordan, for the correction. The fairies, the nymphs, the forest creatures, the changelings, like, I get it. Does it go on a bit long? Sure. But overall, everyone does a decent job. The story's fun. The explanation's actually not a twist. It's a pretty decent explanation. You can see why his daughter has been working on this for a while. It does kind of seem like him, but from a female perspective. It really does. It seems like it was written by him, but from a female's perspective. So overall, I'm going to give this a popcorn of 1 for The Watchers, available on Max. Josh, not your turn. Jordan, give us Platform.
Platform 2, as a matter of fact. The sequel to The Platform. This is a movie, a foreign film, from Spain. It is dubbed over in English. The original, it's a very simple premise. You know, there's these people and they're in this kind of prison-like thing, and every day a platform drops and it's just covered in this banquet of food. And basically, yeah, you don't know how far down there's like platforms, there's levels of this jail, and it starts at the top where they get all the food, and the bottom people don't get anything, right? And it's just this
no food for you.
Yeah, it's just this gross kind of visualization of just like gluttony, of like the worst kind of people you can imagine. And they really gross you out with the way these people eat, and like that ASMR kind of thing, like all the squelching and just waste. They're just throwing food and stuff.
It's a thing right now.
Yeah, the original is just this very simple premise based on that. The sequel, this one here, they make it really complex. So they bring in this whole prison politic kind of culty vibe into it. Okay, so basically the first one, this is a new concept. People don't know how to act. They're just eating all the food. Blah blah blah. This one, they get into like, now all the prisoners are working together. Like, hey, we need to monitor the teams above and below us to make sure that you only eat one thing a day and not eat everything, so that people down below can have food. And if you eat more than you're supposed to, then we jump on the platform and we go down there and we gang fight you. Like it gets really like into this whole extra dynamic of it.
Yeah.
That's actually really, really clever. It's really good,
Cool.
honestly. It's very it's kind of an allegory for like socialism, basically.
A lot of
That's how
movies
this
right
plays
now.
out.
I actually talked about that in my first go at a review of The Substance. A lot of movies are really trying to send messages this season. I think I said in my initial review of The Substance, get ready for an Oscar season filled with movies that want to teach you something.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never heard of that. Is that a new
and this
concept?
is-
Pushing an agenda?
No, but it's heavy this year. It is heavy this year, starting with Megalopolis, with even I mean, they're not all bad messages. That's not my point. My point is sometimes it's a lot. It's just a lot.
Of course.
Yeah. No, this is super heavy-handed. It's there's a guy who keeps talking about we need our freedom, but in a Spanish dubbed over. Like you can tell he's clearly playing an American, and we need our freedom, and we could eat whatever we want. They can't tell us, kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of whatever you want to call it. If it action, I guess there's a lot of action in this. Fighting and all that, so you get just a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
it happens. Everything happens very quickly too. Like the movie starts and you're like, there's stuff going on. There's action. There's grossness. There's all this stuff. So overall, this was a really entertaining movie. It's I give it the main character just kind of looks really off-putting. Just like he grosses you out. I don't know
just
what it
his
is.
face.
His face, yeah, just everything. But I give this a popcorn and 2.
Popcorn and 2 for the platform 2. Josh, what's the final film you're going to be reviewing?
Well, final film is also a popcorn and 2. It's called Coco. First time saying it. Coco is gorgeous.
Two Oscar winners this episode, by the way.
Gorgeous. Coco is so good. The music is fun. It's they play. It's just there's not a lot I can say besides it's just so pretty and so entertaining. The costuming and the set design and the ray tracing lighting and the voice acting is pretty good. The comedy is light, but it's like whimsical and it hits the heavy-hearted themes and it's like it punches you in the gut.
Remember me.
Oh, classic. Bangers.
Yeah. Coco, popcorn 2. I don't know how
not
I
a
stand
3?
in this movie.
What's stopping it from being a 3?
I don't know. It's a popcorn and 3, dude.
Yeah, I'd totally give it a popcorn. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The twist is all time for like Disney movie villain twist. Really good.
You guys want to hear a funny story about the Coco people at Disneyland and what they did to me?
What?
So when I was in sales, and Josh saw me make a sale from a Starbucks at Universal Studios once. Like he was visiting me, and I had one sales call the day he was there the only day I could meet with this team. So I sent him to Harry Potter World by himself, and I sat in the Starbucks right outside Harry Potter World, right? So the same thing happened to me with my family. They came to go to Disneyland, and I don't want to take vacation time. So I sat down at Pixar Pier with my laptop. I had it in my backpack while we were all at Disneyland, and I get on a conference call, and we're talking, and the mariachi band from Coco comes over on Pixar Pier, and it's just me, and I look like such a jerk because I'm muting, and I like shut off my camera really quick, and I'm trying to like, go get out of here, like no, go away, and they're like singing. And it's all based on Coco. They're the mariachis from Coco, and I was the only person there. And I was like, "Why is this happening? Why?" Like the jerk waving off the mariachis from Coco because I'm sitting there at work at Pixar Pier.
What a jerk.
So yeah, what a jerk. Anyway, Josh, I can't be a jerk to you any longer. What is your drunk classic for this week?
It's gonna be a little movie. I'm not sure if you like it. I don't care, but it's definitely a movie I think everyone should watch. It was probably like sitting in the Blockbuster on the shelves for a while. Like, oh, have you seen that one? No, not yet. You want to watch it? Nah, not really. But then you eventually watch it and you're like, oh, well, I'm glad I don't know. What is the preamble? I don't understand what's happening. We're watching Dark City, 1998. Rent everywhere.
Dark City. And it stars an actor that was in a... Yeah, I've seen it. It stars an actor that was in a bunch of stuff, but I have no idea who he is. Like, I've seen his face a million times.
Right.
And like, I can see his face in my head right now. He's got a very, like, unique face. Like, you know that actor's face. But yeah, Dark City. I have
seen it. Sutherland and Jennifer Connelly. Never seen it.
When you're watching it, you'll probably get it, like, almost immediately. But, like, try to figure out which movie or movies did this obviously directly inspire.
Oh, my God. Probably The Crow?
It says from the director of The Crow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It says it on the movie poster.
No, I mean, this movie was an inspiration for other movies in the future, so keep your eye out. It should be very obvious. Yeah, check it out. Can't wait. Dark City.
Dark City.
Nice.
Yeah, not a terrible one, Josh, actually.
It's spooky. It's October-y.
You're going to pull me into when I was a kid. Anyway... So we've got a trilogy as our butter on top this week. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people hate Sony for what they've done to it. But I love the actor that stars in it. So we are going to watch Venom: The Last Dance starring Tom Hardy this week. Please join us at the theater. And thank you for joining us each and every week here on Popcorn and Beers. As always, we'll see you at the movies. You bring the popcorn, and we got the beer.